Okay, keep going, just leave it on, because I actually don't really know what I want to say. Hello, crawlers. And if the birds in the background don't give it away, today we are going on a pub crawl through Liverpool. And usually, by the way, we would be following one of the routes in my books, Historic Pub Crawls Through London. But with Historic Pub Crawls Through England coming out, or out, depending on when you watch this, we are actually going old school, and we are following the draft of the book before it's out. We've got 12 pubs today. We're going to start just around the corner here. We're going to loop, basically we're going to work our way around sort of edge of the Cavern Quarter, edge of the Georgian Quarter, and then we'll end up coming along the famous Mathew Street, where we'll go past, and we'll pop into the Cavern Club, which is obviously famous for the Beatles, and we'll actually pop up somewhere along here by the Liver building, out into the docks, and then we'll follow alongside the water's edge, which is going to be absolutely freezing today because it's, what we've been like, it's halfway through January, right? Like it's the 30th of January, something like that. So it's far too cold to be doing this in just a hoodie, but I'm well thermaled up. I'll have a beer coat on in a few pubs' time. We've got some amazing pubs, some highlights here that you've asked for. When I came up here were the Ship Mitre. We just walked past that, we're gonna go back there. Obviously we mentioned the Cavern Club, Pump House, and the Baltic Fleet are supposed to be pretty special. And then we've got the Bridewell, which has got some prison cells in it. So there's lots and lots to see. I can't wait to share this with you. We're going to start off at Ye Hole in Ye Wall, which I think that Hitler used to drink in when he came over to see his sister when she studied in the city. So let's see how this Londoner gets on, walking around lovely Liverpool, meeting all these great people and having all of these great pints. Let's go. Okay, so first pub. This is supposed to be the oldest in the city. I'm going through the manuscript here that is for my book before it's published. So depending on when you've seen this, you may have the book already. But this is supposed to be also super haunted as well. So these are one of the few that don't know that we're turning up today. Hopefully they'll let us film and we can share it with you because it was really requested. Let's go and have a look.
I poured a pint at Liverpool's oldest pub.
Ye Hole in the Wall. It's pub number 1 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route. Let's go and get a pint.
Tucked off the main road, this pub claims to be built in 1726, making it the oldest in Liverpool. But for much of its history, it did not admit women, with the fairer sex not allowed in the bar until 1977. But before then, legend claims that Adolf Hitler was a frequent customer before the onset of World War II during visits to his sister, who was studying in the city. But back to the bar, and the owner Stephen had a great time pulling my leg and talking me into a no-look pour of a pint of white rat before exploring this old pub, which is haunted by at least 2 spirits. The first, a hooded figure of unknown origin, and the second, an 18th century Spanish sailor who was stabbed in the pub for not accepting a king's shilling. Finally, I headed upstairs to check out the cellars, since the pub is built on the site of an old Quaker cemetery, meaning their beer must be stored on the first floor above the bar. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
So we're going to do no look pour.
Welcome to the hole in the wall.
Right.
Come on. Look at the camera.
I'm looking
Talk
at the camera. I am talking to the camera. I'm not even looking at whether I'm up there. I reckon I'm getting close.
Liverpool's oldest pub. This is
Yeah. You're going to go one half more? Are we done?
No, nowhere near. Come on.
No?
You're supposed to be telling about the oldest pub in Liverpool.
No, we do voiceovers, honestly. There you go.
You can stop at the top of the glass.
Hug.
No, you gotta hug it.
Hang on, this is my no look pour. Hang on.
By the way, mate, you got to drink him in one.
No, I've got too many to do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. We'll let that settle a little bit.
It's perfect.
That's fine.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Good pint as well.
Well, that was an amazing pub, amazing landlord. I had so much fun, and they've humiliated me by making me do a no-look pour a pint behind the bar. I just want a quick shout out to Denbigh Castle just here. It was one of the quite requested pubs, but they are part of a little independent group round here that own a few different pubs that we're already going to. So if you're feeling adventurous and you want to do more than the 12 pubs on the route, this is definitely one that you want to add. But for us, we're going to head up now. We're going to go up here, right, past this big mural we'll show you in a minute. And in fact, let's have a look at this big mural. This is, and we are going to go to the Lion Tavern, which the interior of it is supposed to be stunning. So we'll see what that looks like. I think it's just up here. So we'll see that in a couple of minutes. We'll roll the video. Cool, look at that. That's a good use for an old building, isn't it?
Just ring the bell and watch the drinks flow.
The Lion Tavern. It's pub number 2 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route. Let's go and grab ourselves a beer.
This wonderful pub is equally ornate and tatty at the same time, and it's located on one of Liverpool's original 7 streets that saw an explosion of licensed premises around the Industrial Revolution. And it gets its name from the Lion locomotive that was present on the Liverpool to Manchester railway lines when the pub gained its licence around 1840. This ornate pub was extended in 1915 and is one of those in the area with Art Nouveau tiling, stained glass, and the sort of ornate woodworked bar made famous by the Keynes brewery owners. And as you saw in the intro, it features the original brass bells used by customers to attract the attention of staff. But where there's a bar, there's a beer. And Dave poured me a pint of their own pale ale as I watched impatiently for it to be served through the hatch. Now, I don't usually give opinions, but it's unusual to see curved glass so ornately etched under a magnificent skylight with opulent tiling throughout that makes this pub well worth a short walk from the city centre. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
Well, I was just going to check the map and the directions just to make sure that we were going to spot the next pub. If I tell you it's called Shenanigans, and it's one of the most famous Irish bars, or at least one of the ones that we were told to come and visit when we came up here, I think that fucking gives it away, right? I mean, if that isn't Shenanigans, I'm just going home. That looks pretty cool, right?
This is Liverpool's best pint of Guinness.
It's Shenanigans. It's pub number 3 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route. Let's go and try and get that. Oh, there's a car, quick.
Well, it's certainly odd, this isolated building on one of Liverpool's original 7 streets, as it was one of the few survivors from the World War II bombings. The history goes back much further than that, as it was one of the 18 licensed premises on the road in 1842. However, its name remains a mystery until 1860, when it changed to Spirit Vaults, then the Revolving Lamp, and later Walker's. And it's a classic Irish pub, with the walls and ceilings adorned with knickknacks and memorabilia gathered by the 3 MacDonald brothers, who moved to the city and opened it as Shenanigans in 1997. But back to the bar, and if the Guinness guru says that this is the best in Liverpool, then who am I to disagree? Before I had a quick explore of the rest of the pub, including a rooftop terrace and a first floor bar where we'll keep the sound down to save you from hearing me murder the piano. And we got too carried away we missed filming it, but you'll have to believe me that there was a prize wheel on the wall and I won myself a free baby Guinness. But we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
Got me? What a great Irish pub that was. But look at this crazy thing. So there are going to be a few of these that I think we're going to spot, particularly as we walk to the dock. So I'm not going to spoil the surprise and start talking to you about what it is right now. We have a special guest joining us later on in this pub crawl. I'm pretty sure he's going to be much better informed than me. For now, we're going to we're a little bit of a busy junction here. We're going to wind our way down to the Ship Mitre, which again was a super requested pub. We already kind of walked past it when we were orientating ourselves earlier. It looks amazing on the outside. I've heard some amazing things about it inside. It's going to be special. Let's go and get ourselves a beer there. Let's get out of this freezing cold January weather in Liverpool. It's far too cold. I don't think I'm missing something, but I don't usually see this sort of thing throughout London.
You know you're loved when someone builds your pub out of Lego.
It's the Ship Mitre. It's pub number 4 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route. Let's get down off this death trap and go and grab a pint.
With its name coming from 2 previous incarnations, the flagship and the mitre, this Art Deco building was constructed on the site of an old coach house in 1935, and it's inside where several extensive renovations of the seating and the wood panelling has created the illusion of being inside a ship. But that's not why we're here for beer, and I grabbed myself a pint of counting coins before adding some valuable sustenance, as the hot pork scratchings at the end of the bar were too good to resist. And after fueling up, I was treated to a tour of the pub by Andy, where I checked out the upstairs bar. And there's something really kooky about this place, because whilst it's one of the best places in Liverpool to explore a wide range of craft beer, at times the tiling makes you feel like you're in a hospital, but the windows and stained glass give the impression that you're actually on the Titanic. Not that these students seemed to notice, as they were busy celebrating exam success. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
So the more observant of you might notice that we were on this road earlier because we've kind of done a loop. So the first 4 pubs have sort of looped around the top of like towards the edge of the Georgian Quarter, and now we're going to head up. We're going to go into the Cavern Quarter. I wouldn't expect anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And so this is the actual directions that are going out in the book when it's published. And so part of this route and part of this video is for us to come back, revisit all these amazing pubs, walk the route so that you know that when you buy the book, you are going to have the confidence that you are going to get as lost as I'm going to get. Obviously, we're not going to get lost. We've got another pub. Which one are we going to next? We're going to the White Star. It's at the end of Mathew Street. This is basically where, this is like the heart of Beatle territory, like Mathew Street. So we've got 3 pubs sort of back to back. They're going to be great music venues. It's going to look incredible. Yeah, let's go and see what we've got coming. So this is a statue of Eleanor Rigby from the famous Beatles song. I think it was 80s. When was it? 82. So it was put here in 1982. It was actually sculpted by Tommy Steele, who certainly from my childhood, I always remember as being the kind of musical theatre singer that would sing something like That Little White Ball was always a song I remember him doing, and a whole bunch of other classics. So, yeah, what a bizarre connection to make this. Anyway, we've no time for this. We've got pubs to go to.
Well, Eleanor Rigby's not impressed with this owner of the Titanic.
It's the White Star. It's pub number 5 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route. Let's go and get a pint.
This 1880 pub was where the Beatles played their first ever gig, and the back room is adorned with tributes known as the Beatles' back wall. But it actually gets its name from the shipping company, who are well remembered for the loss of several notable passenger liners. Whilst most famously the Titanic in 1912, they had already lost the Atlantic in 1873 and the Republic in 1909, before the Britannic was was lost just 4 years after that most famous ship. But back to the bar, and although they kindly poured me a pint, it was a carling, so I had to toughen up to get through it. But not all heroes can wear capes, and although the locals were a great laugh, we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
I'm pretty sure we got excited when we left the White Star and went straight to the Grapes, and then just went straight into filming there, because we're right in the heart of Mathew Street, which is just like in London, how every single pub seems to have had Charles Dickens drinking it at some point. Every single pub here claims to have something to do with the Beatles. Either the Beatles once sat there, knew someone who might have ordered a pint there once, or maybe they walked past it. That's normally good enough to call it a Beatles pub.
It's the musical heartbeat of Liverpool.
It's the Grapes. It's pub number 6 on our Liverpool Cavern to the dock. Let's go and get a pint.
Located on one of the most popular streets in the city, this tourist destination is surrounded by attractions and pubs, all linked to the Beatles. And the road gets its unusual spelling from the notable fruit and veg merchant, Mathew Pluckington. So although this pub was one of the Beatles' favourite venues, with a back room that was said to be a popular hangout for them, the recent refurbishments take away some of the charm of this pub, which was built as far back as 1804. Now, they claim to have a Banksy, and whilst there's lots of murals throughout, let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story. And on this occasion, a lovely Grace behind the bar poured me a G&T using a Liverpool gin. So whilst this is one of the most popular nightlife locations, who cares where you're from when this is the destination?
But where we are going now is the most Beatles of the lot. And we are going to go to, it's not the original entrance is down there by a statue of Cilla Black. But we are going to go into the famous Cavern Club. So let's go and have a pint at the home of the Beatles.
Liverpool's most famous venue and the home of the Beatles.
The famous Cavern Club. It's number 7 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Dock route. Let's go and get a pint at the home of the Beatles.
Now say it quietly as I descended the steps past the reminders of this iconic venue that I'm actually more of a Stones fan. But it's impossible to come to Liverpool without visiting the place that was originally opened in 1957 as a jazz club before it became the beating heart of Liverpool's rock and roll scene. Before then, under these brick archways, it was originally a fruit warehouse, as it became more fondly linked to the Beatles and the Mersey beat style of Jerry and the Pacemakers and the Searchers and Cilla Black. The heat from the revellers in this packed venue would cause the bricks to sweat a scent of the previously stored fruit, leaving the colloquially named Cavern perfume on the dancers. There's just so much to see here. As well as Beatlemania, it's also hosted some of the most famous musicians and rock bands you've ever heard of. But back to the bar, and I grabbed a pint of their own lager before getting an exclusive backstage pass to take a seat in the dressing room before making that famous walk out to the stage.
It's the Cavern Club. You're probably going to hardly hear me. It's live music every single day. Worth the trip. Let's go to the next one. I've got to admit, I feel quite emotional actually, having just left the Cavern Club, for a couple of reasons. One, well, for a few actually, for more than a couple of reasons. Because when I first started filming pubs for the books, it was mixed as to if people would let me film or if people were interested. And they were so welcoming, which is also interesting because they definitely don't need the publicity because they're probably one of the most famous pubs or bars on the planet. And thirdly, they let us stand on the stage where the Beatles used to play. And we did both the stages. So we went to the back where they opened, which was closed at the moment because it's quiet. So they let us go into the dressing room where, like, Paul McCartney was sitting, where hundreds of musicians had sat, and walked through the back of the stage to then go and see exactly what it would have felt like, obviously without any people in the audience, because that's what it was like. That's the same walk that some of the most talented people on the planet have ever done. It was amazing. It was humbling, and we've still got 5 pubs to go, because we're about to head now towards the docks, where we'll see the famous Liver building. We will see some of the famous artwork and the landmarks that are right up hard against the water. I'm expecting it to be cold. Before we do that, we're going to stop off at the Old Bank, which was a former bank's head office, and I love these type of pubs because I love that kind of pub where they're big like granite columns, and you can see like really high ceilings. It's going to look and feel incredibly different from the dark, exposed brick archways of the cavern that we've been in, which I think is going to take a while for me to compute. So why not have another beer? The phone's pretty much dying now. We can charge it whilst we're sitting and just decompressing in a wonderful pub. The video for that is going to roll now.
This old Liverpool bank will blow your mind.
The Old Bank. It's pub number 8 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route. Let's go and get a pint.
Initially a branch of the First National Bank, it was constructed in 1920, and although the space has been transformed with the installation of seating and an island bar in 2018, it's clear to see how the space would have been used many years ago, and it carries the flamboyance and elegance of the old banking halls of the time, with their intimidatingly high ceilings propped up by marble columns and illuminated by elegant chandeliers. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. So I grabbed a pint of Blue Moon before a pit stop to refuel with a fiery platter of nachos. Now there was still more to discover as I headed downstairs, because although the original vault door was probably removed and sold for scrap, you can still see the ironwork in the safe where they now store the alcohol. But we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. So it was off into the night with today's special guest Cam, who had the red carpet rolled out for him.
Oh, you've got like a wheel.
Yeah.
You've got like a...
So I'm thinking best way so we can you get a couple of shots of like the main sort of situation. There's a statue of the Beatles just here.
Yeah, we need to go and see that.
So we go through here.
Yeah.
And then we'll cross on the next one and cut across the Liver building so you can get. So if you hang further back and you get yourself a wider shot, you get to see the whole tree graces and sort of a nice skyline.
These are the three great. Yeah. So the route, even though technically we've just left the Old Bank and we kind of want to go that way, we kind of want to loop round because
just for the
how can you not
sightseeing.
see this? This is
That is, and I'll show you the spot where the Robert Pattinson was filming the Batman.
Oh right, okay.
So recently, is it the Paramount? It is Paramount. They're actually moving a lot of the operations into Liverpool, so it's still under constructions. A few miles outside the city, the old sort of Littlewoods warehouse that they're taking over. But for the first time in many, many years, I think it was the last year, it was more stuff filmed outside of London in Liverpool than ever before.
Oh wow!
Just because it's easier to shut the streets in Liverpool.
Okay. Yes.
We can fake it to be whatever.
Yeah.
And then the funniest thing, I went to a beer festival last year in the summer in Birmingham. I got absolutely trolleyed. Got back on the train the same night. We can cross here. And then obviously I was quite pissed. I went to sleep, woke up, and I'm feeling what's going on outside my window because I live right in town. And I'm standing there with my coffee, pounding headache, thinking, what's going on? And I can just hear tires screeching, this and that. What's going on in here? I've opened the window and I see John Krasinski and Natalie Portman filming the new Guy Ritchie film right outside my window. And they have a fake London bus which says Transport of London on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I wake up in a different fucking city?
I wake up somewhere I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got this far and you're wondering who we're talking to, I'd probably do a really bad introduction for Cam, but I know Cam through Instagram, runs Beerguideworldwide.
Hello.
Who's helped me put together the route for the pubs in Liverpool. And has done a great job over the last couple of days to make sure that everyone was kind of expecting us as well.
Obviously.
So the least that we can do is prize him away from all of the important stuff that he does elsewhere and drag him out for at least the last 4 pubs so we can get at least 4 pints into him.
That's it.
And thank him
and
for his efforts.
those are going to be some
I'm not
magnificent
gonna lie, you
pints.
can go on this side. These guys look like they're going too fast to me. I wasn't ready to get squashed by an electric car. That's silent death.
When you're out with the local, you know where to walk.
Yeah, he knows, he knows.
And just because I was expecting such an important guest, I've called up the guys on the Albert Dock and I said, listen, I need total privacy when we go and visit the statue of the Beatles, so you can film whatever you want. You can see yourself, the live building that changes colours. And this is probably...
He has...
If you stand here and film this way, this is probably one of the most iconic shots of Liverpool you can get. Which is pretty cool.
I'll just stand out of the shot for the minute so you can enjoy the iconic shot.
And the ever-changing colours of the live building.
And
so
now,
in the summer, it's just amazing.
Now I'll stand in it and ruin it. Come on, Cam, you come with me. They're taller than I remember them being.
Slightly. Right, let's do this.
Oh. I've got a lot of thermals underneath. Hopefully, we're going to see banana llama.
Yes, I'll show you them in a minute. And it's a lovely little segment through the banana llamas, over the lovely little bridge dam thing, straight to the other side of the Albert Dock, the historic with the tobacco warehouses, and that is where the next stop is. A pub number 1 for me with you tonight.
Number 9 for us.
Number 9.
All right, let's go and get a pint. Come on,
But
there you
before,
go. Oh, go on. What's he saying?
You see that clock over there?
Yeah.
Clock facing that way,
yeah.
Just above it, if you watch the new Batman with Robert Pattinson, this is where the helicopter was sort of pointing the camera, and this is where they were jumping off when they were filming the new Batman.
Okay, can I give you a spoiler alert? I have watched the new Batman, and it was really boring. He doesn't say
it is boring.
So slow. It's so boring.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything or do anything. I just wanted to shake him. And
It's
it was
a bit dark.
And it was a
Too
sunk
dark.
cost fallacy because I kind of got an hour and a half into the film and went, I'm so over this. There's a whole hour to go, and I thought I've already watched an hour and a half. Yeah. I'll stick around. Whereas the reality is life's too short, and we've got pubs to go to. Let's go.
Yes.
Come on.
Come on, pubs. Pubs. Ladies and gentlemen, the history and cultural tour is over for the time being. The thirst has really settling in, and the next pub is on the horizon with the big old chimney. Spoiler, spoiler, is right there.
Yeah, it's right. It's supposed to be really famous.
Bridge
Where are
at
they
the same
building
time.
the Everton Stadium?
About 1.5 miles.
Okay,
down that way.
long way up that way. And
Yeah.
that's underway, right? That's
It's pretty much finished now.
okay.
They're just doing
Just
a
in
lot-
time for them to get relegated.
Probably.
Amazing.
It's going to be the best stadium in Championship.
It is,
So,
yeah.
so if you look at this, crazy. Like, it mind boggles when you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, the water is all the way over there,
Yes, you
and
can't
the
see
water
the water.
is all the way over this way,
Yes.
and that evens out, and the boats can vacate and arrive, if you like. Technology and nature and everything else.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, look. Have a look at this, Ben. Look, the tide's out. You can hardly even see the water, and it would be just a couple of meters below us if the tide was in.
The only treasure you would ever find in there would be shopping trolleys, tyres, old shoes. There was a shark in there recently. Scouse Elvis.
Scouse Elvis. Who is Scouse Elvis?
I can't remember his name, but he's
It's going to be Shakin' Stevens or someone, isn't it?
It was the Elvis of the Scouse land.
Elvis of Scouseland. Skelvis.
Elvis.
Skelvis. There you go. You can have that one for free.
What a pub at the heart of Liverpool's dock.
It's the Pump House. It's pub number 9 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route, and we've got a special guest with us. Cam, Let's go and get a beer. Oh, look at that. He's even opening the door for me.
But first we had to get there, and I was lucky to be wearing my beer jacket because the wind off the Mersey was arctic. When the sun's shining, this pub is a major destination in the fashionable part of the Albert Dock area. Now, although the pub is reasonably modern, having opened in 1984, it's actually housed in the world's first hydraulic pumping station that was built in 1870 and provided the power supply to the historic dockyard. So of course, given its location, it had to be a waterfront bitter from Neptune Brewery. Now you can just imagine this modern pub as an industrial building, as it's split across several layers, and you can feel closed in by the exposed brickwork and the pillars. Today's special guest from Beerguideworldwide tells me that on a sunny day, a view of the Docklands makes this one of the best beer gardens in the city. But we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
We've just finished up at the pump house and we're about to go to the Baltic Fleet,
Yes.
which was one of the most requested pubs. When I sort of put a poll out on Insta and said, you know, which pub should I go to? This one has a lot. Now I think. So Cam might know some more stories or history about it. I heard that this was notorious for having two doors, two entry and exit. And the reason that they have that is that, let's just say a lot of scallies used to drink there.
Yeah.
And if the police turned up to arrest someone whilst they were having a drink, they much preferred the person to dash out the back door then, you know, if you've only got one entrance and exit, like they stayed in and they basically had a fist, they had to fight their way out. Obviously, they go through the door and they run straight into the arms of the police who are waiting there.
That's right.
But at least, you know, they're not fighting in a pub.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
There's definitely two doors, and it's recently been renovated as well. And it's truly independent. And they have always have a great selection of beers. They will always have something local on, either on cask or keg as well. And it is one of the very few pubs in the city centre of Liverpool with actual real fire in it. I think for the days like today and cold weather in the winter, having a real fireplace going in a pub, it's...
I'm freezing cold now.
No, you'll be all right.
Thankfully, we're like 9 pubs in now, so the beer coat and... The combo of the beer coat and the thermals is
Doing good.
And then an open fire should solve us.
Any tourists, this is called the Floating Grace, which is the restaurant.
Okay.
They sail a few times a day.
Floating Grace.
And then there's a man in there prepares you like a 3-course meal, and then you can have a beer with it or whatever. And
Does it just float? It doesn't move?
No, it goes all around the docks. It does.
Okay.
There's
You
like
can see something.
A few big loops and that.
I mean, this is pretty cool. Look, this is the Scouse Eye, which means at least 3 of the little booths around it have been stolen.
Those days are behind us.
No, it's not the Scouse Eye. If it was the Scouse Eye, then we wouldn't see the wheel. It'd just be on bricks.
That's it. With no lights on.
There were no lights. Now that I've offended everyone from Liverpool, let's cut. We'll go to the Baltic.
This is Liverpool's best craft beer pub.
It's the Baltic Fleet. It's pub number 10 on our Liverpool Cavern to the Dock route. And I think the entrance is around the side. Let's go and find it.
Well, we were just about to walk into this pub when we were welcomed by the landlord who'd been waiting outside, testing a new open fire that ascended from the cellars. And this 1850s Flatiron style pub might be decorated in a nautical theme, but it's famous for both its vast craft beer collection, which it acknowledges by the names on the wall. It's also well known for its cosy open fires throughout. It originally had several external doors, which was to allow customers to escape any press gangs or local authority, because rather than watching a fight in the pub, the landlords preferred them to make a run for it, usually into the arms of a waiting officer. But back to the bar, and with such a vast amount of choice, you can probably get away with a different pint every time you come here. Now, there are rumours that the cellars contain smugglers' tunnels that lead to the dock, or for the more seedy, into into the red light district of Cornhill. But we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to, and we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
But that's
Wow.
so that's about the history of the pub. Two pubs, not one, and then in 1901 they became one.
Amazing. Let's get a pint then. Yeah, because we've just left the incredible Baltic Fleet, which was
Very nice.
highly recommended.
Yes, it
We've
is.
got the grand tour. It's surprisingly tiny when you look at it on the outside, but inside it's a bit of a TARDIS.
Yes.
And the next place we're going to go, Cam will know a lot more about this. Bridewell is another one I've been recommended. There's some
Yes, indeed.
very, very distinctive features about this.
Yes. Well, I will not tell you what it is.
Oh,
We're just gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and then I'll show you what it is. It's even better.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Visual clues.
We'll just roll straight to the video then.
Let's grab a pint in Liverpool's old prison.
Welcome to Bridewell, pub number 11, from Cavern to the Docks route here in Liverpool. Let's get a pint, shall we?
Yeah, let's get a pint.
Come on, then.
big man.
Well, the name certainly gives this away as a Bridewell, which was a type of prison or reform school for petty offenders. And this one was built alongside the adjoining fire station in the 1840s, with the 7 cells usually occupied by over-exuberant sailors or dockers. And whilst every London pub claims to have hosted Charles Dickens, in 1860, this Liverpool one housed him overnight whilst he was researching his novel, The Uncommercial Traveller. Though it ceased to be a prison in 1932, rumours abound that the US military used it to house some of Germany's prisoners of war. And whilst band Frankie Goes to Hollywood were formed here in 1982, with most of Welcome to the Pleasure Dome being written here, that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. And our companion today, Cam, got himself behind the bar before coming to find me and make my stay in this cell a little bit more pleasurable. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
I mean, it's going to be a really disappointing ride.
It's not the first,
But
it's not the
hang
last
on.
time, my
But
friend.
you're like 2 or 3 pubs in, and we're 10 pubs in, so it's a good opportunity for me
You
to
cannot
start.
tell the difference, by the way.
No, you can't. And clearly, I'm going to start waffling and talking about a lot of nonsense. And so we have our Liverpool local here to tell us what's so special about Liverpool.
Semi-local, if you like.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
He's getting more and more. He's getting less Polish and more Scouse.
Yeah,
With
so-
every pint.
Listen, mate, I've lived here on Galaf, so you know what I mean. I've scoused it out if you want me to, lad.
Yeah.
So I've lived here for like good 13, 14 years now, and I fucking love Liverpool. It's a great city. And now for the saddened viewers, there will be a translation of what has been said in a bit more acceptable voice. It was
So Poland via Scotland.
Poland via Herefordshire, via Manchester, via Lost in Translation for 18 months, via Nottingham, Bournemouth, Scotland, and then Liverpool. There was a lot of crazy stints and things have happened, but I ended up here and I love the city. It is really a great, great place to be. And simply because everyone's so kind, you can talk to anyone. Like the first person I met when I moved here, it just showed me places to go and stuff, and it was just so kind of random and unknown at the point. So I try to return the favor and talk to people and tell them all the best things about the city itself. But also, it's a very walkable place. Even if you're made to having a pint at the other end of town, you can be there in 20 minutes walk in. No need for transportations, you can just walk everywhere. Like we just did, from a pub to pub, you know, a few minutes here and there, sneaking through the streets, sneaking to the Albert Dock, lovely views everywhere. And at the end of the day, if you don't like Liverpool, it's 45 minutes to Manchester, it's only 2 hours to London. And if you are a nature freak like me, it's an hour and a half to Peak District, Lake District, and Snowdonia. So you can get out there even for day trips and just get your fix.
This was one of your favourites. So we're in
Top 10.
Bridewell right now. This was definitely one of your favourites.
One
And
of my
the
favourite.
Baltic you loved. That
Baltic.
one you sent you
Wonderful.
last
Pump
week.
House has got I've got a really soft spot just because
That view.
yeah,
View over
the
dock,
beer
right?
garden. If you ever see it in the summer, you'll understand why. And
Yeah.
the cask is always great as well. And then there's several others. Like you've been to Ship, which is a great pub as well. You've been to Shenanigans, which is great.
Ship and Mitre was great.
Yeah, and there's going to be a couple of other pubs that on this tour that you will visit
Yeah.
that also in my top 10. My regular pubs that I go to
Okay.
pretty much most weeks when I'm in Liverpool and I'm not away doing stuff. There's culture, there's music, and there's pretty much everything else you can think of, and it's all walk-in. You come in, you put your bag in a hotel, you have a bus time for a few days, John's a good one.
Well, if you're a beer lover as well, you probably should be following Cam's. Beer Guide Worldwide on Insta.
TikTok.
And on TikTok, same
YouTube.
on everything.
Yeah, all of it.
Beer Guide Worldwide on all the channels.
I do a lot of beer events, not just videography, but I also host and promote and do logistical stuff for it. But the ones, which is sort of a baby of mine and a few other guys that we do it together, it's called Craft Brew Festivals. It's an unlimited beer festival / a party, really. And we've sold out pretty much all of last year. And this year we're increasing the amount of cities. So far, it's 8, could be more, but it's Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol, Sheffield, Leeds, Lancaster, and Swansea. There might be more. Leeds is the one I probably look more forward the most because it's the first time we're doing it in Leeds this year.
Okay.
It's an additional. We've done all the cities last year. All of them have exceeded the expectations. The people had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful feedback, and we work with independent small breweries. We bring them along. They build the little bars, and the people can come in. They get given a glass on the entrance and a little lanyard with a menu. They can tick off the beers they have. And they can go and try as much or as little as they want. And we have live music, and we've got a dog mascot that comes out and dances with people, and confetti cannons and glow sticks, which is lovely. And we have bumper cars, and that's the only time you can drink and drive, and I do encourage that after a few steins.
Actually, to be fair, bumper cars drunk is probably...
Yeah, it's go and smash somebody in the car while you're pissed and holding a stein in your hand, boss.
Obviously, we normally follow routes around historic pub crawls through London. Of which I've written 2 books, as well as a book around New York. And depending on when you see this, it may be out or may not be out, but all of these will have been republished. And my historic pub crawls through England, which is the route that we are doing specifically in Liverpool right now, will be out in the summer of 2025. And so, I can't write a book without, personally experiencing and sharing with you all of the pubs.
And tasting the goods, most importantly.
Tasting the goods, right? And so there's actually a bit like Manchester. When I prepared the route, there were too many great pubs in a small area that I just could not do one route. And so just like Manchester has 2 routes, Liverpool has 2 routes. So today we've been through like the classic music area, Mathew Street, the Cavern Club. Like we've kind of hit the touristy bit, and then the docks, which again, it's gorgeous. Looked amazing when it's dark and the light. You're looking over the water, over the famous Mersey. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And then tomorrow we're gonna start at Lion Street Station, which is the terminus where you would come up if you were coming from London, and you can walk straight out, go to the Crown, and then we're gonna hit some of the old classics like the Crack and Roscoe Head, like the ones that you don't see anywhere on social media.
Great for beer, great for culture.
You don't see anywhere on social media. But then you also we're going to go and hit the ones that everyone says that you absolutely need to go to, like the Philharmonic.
You got it.
It's supposed to be one of the most, the Vines, 2 of the most beautiful pubs apparently. We'll head to Peter Cavanagh, and then after Peter Cavanagh's, we will mooch over towards where like the Cane Brewery was. So all the old brewery buildings. All of the the way that they've kind of the tap rooms and the pubs are kind of sprung up on there. So a little bit more modern pubs, but in a really old building, in a really old area. Should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, most of it, because Liverpool is a great drinking city. It's a proper northern city. A lot of workmen in here. There's a pub on every street corner, and I love the fact that you're highlighting the best of the best out there. And for you guys that are watching and will come to Liverpool, I'm sure after watching this, you'll get yourself a wonderful pint of something great and you'll have a boss time.
Right, on that note, we're going to knock this on the head. We're probably going to go and grab a pizza first.
Quick slice,
and then hit the last pub, Monro's. They've got a quiz we're going to gate crash. That'll be fun.
Indeed.
Well, 12 pints in, it was always going to be a struggle to make this video.
Monro. It's pub number 12 and the final pub on our Liverpool Cavern to the Docks route. Let's go and get a pint.
Well, what a route, and so much fun exploring the tourist spots and the famous docks of Liverpool. And where better to end than this distinctive Georgian former merchant house that was constructed in 1746, which gets its name from the first passenger ship that travelled to New York in 1817. And it was a lot of fun in here, with some friendly locals within an interior that is both renovated and refined in some places and rustic and distressed in others. And if you pop upstairs, make sure not to turn left into this room that doesn't have a floor. But back to the bar, and we went for a selection of my elusive dream, the Mosaic Pale Ale, and a pint of Inch's cider, which after a cold day's filming was reward for us small, medium and large. Now there's a lot to take in Liverpool as the home of the Beatles, and the dock, which is the site of the iconic Three Graces, and that spectacular building topped by the mythical liver birds. So whilst it's easy to be tempted to holiday abroad, why not make this your next stop? Because who cares where you're from when this is the destination?
Of course, we're not that pissed because it's all about, you go on, get a camera on me, I'm the star.
I'm the side chick.
It's an extra portion of sides. This is, thank you for everyone who's got this far. Firstly, that's amazing. I'm sure you already like, subscribe, do all that kind of shit that everyone should do on YouTube. I mean, this is inevitable right now, that this is the part that's like the Easter egg at the end of the video when we're really drunk. So we have covered 12 amazing pubs. I would say, I was quite apprehensive when this Londoner came up to Liverpool, and Cam had done a really great job to get a lot of the pubs lined up to expect us. But the very first pub that we walked into, Ye Hole in Ye Wall, they've got no social media presence. I was super nervous that the first thing we're going to walk into, super old school pub, they're going to say, no, I'm not interested, I want to talk to you. Like Stephen, the guy behind the bar was amazing. It was, and that
Big guy Steve.
set the tone for the rest of the day. I loved the Lion Tavern. I loved the mosaics around it. Dave was an absolute legend as a landlord. Shenanigans. That's
One of my favourites.
That's supposed to be the best pint of Guinness in Liverpool. I love the Ship Mitre. I mean, that's like, there's
The
just so
ship
much
is
there.
just so phenomenal because the variety of beers. They have somewhere in the region of 40 to 50 on cask and keg at any time, plus another 100 in bottles and cans. So over 100 beers available at any point at the ship. So
It's amazing. So after we
something
finish
for everyone.
at the ship, we kind of moved into the centre, into the Cavern Quarter, where basically every single pub's got something to do with the Beatles. So we did the White Star, which weren't expecting us. I wasn't sure about these guys, but what a pub. Really nice old pub. Lots of stuff that's either boxing or like Titanic. I love that. Really nice kind of vibe in there. The grapes on Mathew Street, I wasn't so impressed with it. It was really generic, actually. Like
karaoke late night
like
situation.
for the fame that they have with the Beatles being in the back bar, like it looked like a really generic. But Grace behind the bar was amazing. And a lot of the time, you know, people make the pubs. So we enjoyed that. I'm still buzzing over the Cavern Club.
That is probably going to be a one thing you'll remember for quite some time.
Both of us did. Both Ben got on stage as well.
What did you do? Go on, tell them.
So we filmed the actual green room, the dressing room, where everyone, like all of the people that you definitely have heard of, that are way more famous than anyone we know will do. And we sat in there, had a drink, and then walked through like the backstage and then onto the stage. That was incredible. That was like mind melting. I absolutely loved that. And Billy, the guy who was looking after us, was really incredible. I loved the Old Bank. Old Bank was great. I know that there's a lot of controversy whenever I go and do a lot of pubs that are in like banks. Beautiful. People often say like, you know, old historic, they think small, dark, like wood fires. I get that, I love that. Yeah. But like sometimes like I love like a big like the marble pillars.
The chandelier was exceptional.
Yes, it's gorgeous. Like it's
And the
gorgeous.
toilets in the basement.
The toilets in the basement were also incredible.
And they have live music as well. So that's
So it was at this point where we picked up and we scooped up Cam for the route. And so you know that if you're scooping up someone for the route who is Beerguideworldwide, you'll know you're going to get a good beer in every pub you go to. And Cam did a great job. He smashed both of us for being tourists, for getting photos next to the Beatles, which obviously we're going
has
to
to
do.
be done.
We got the 3 Graces, so the amazing buildings. Live a bird, it doesn't exist, it's not real. But the buildings are amazing. I loved our walk. I thought
By
that
the
was-
river. It was nice.
I thought that was really special. And then we come to the pump house.
Romantic styles.
We weren't holding hands completely. He's not my type.
Too much hair.
He's too good looking for me. These beards would be like Velcro as well. Anyway.
Don't be jealous.
Yeah, don't be jealous. But we did go to the pump house, which Cam said was one of the best places to go, where there's like a beer garden, you overlook the docks. I absolutely loved that. And then it was a little stroll. Like the weird thing that kind of threw me out with the Baltic Fleet was that, like, you've got the tranquility of the docks, and then you've got this horrible main road. Like, it's super busy. Like, it's
Two
just
lanes that way,
it's
two
a
lanes
two
the
lane,
other.
yeah, like it's really busy. But when you see the Baltic Fleet, and Simon, bless him, the landlord, knew we were coming, and they're famous for having an open fire, he actually put a fire outside for us.
Right.
That was cool.
That has never happened. It's a brand new occurrence. Just lit up, especially for your visit. That, for me, says everything about the hospitality of the Scousers and the people in Liverpool. They put the extra stops to make sure you get to see the best of everything. And that, for me, was exceptional. Baltic Fleet is a beacon of calmness in the middle of madness with all the traffic.
Yeah.
But my man's got a fire, not just inside. He's got a fire outside.
Yeah, like I'm gonna just put this down as a marker right now because
It's
I
great.
love the Central and Gateshead.
And it smells
I think Central and
great.
Gateshead's one of my favourite pubs I've ever been to. I'm gonna put Baltic Fleet right up there. One of the best pubs I've ever been to in my life.
Not only you can see it from afar, now you can smell it from afar.
No,
because
I
the
loved
fire,
it.
the wood.
I loved it. I love the atmosphere. I love the layout of the bar. I love the iconic way that the pub kind of sits on its own. But the next pub that we went to the Bridewell, which is Cam's like favourite pub. And I can see why that would be, because it's basically it's like an old prison.
It used to be a police station, converted now to a bar. But there were 6 holding cells. And they obviously had inmates in them, and you see the original doors and with the little holes, which for everyone who has been watching, you'll know. He put a finger through a hole. I delivered the goods. He had that.
Absolutely, yeah, that one's staying in. That's not safe for work.
Yeah.
All about the whole thing.
Keep it
and I
together,
just
cameraman.
fucked it up.
Yeah, listen,
Okay.
it's happening. Oh,
So here we are, look. We're 12 pubs in. We're going to do, we've got 11 tomorrow.
Down it.
It's been amazing. Thank you, Cam. That's brilliant. You going to join us for most of tomorrow?
down it. And then
No, I'm not downing.
down in it. Right. For you out there, it's cheers from Liverpool. Down the hatch.
Cheers from Liverpool, down the hatch.